E.N.D here, day 3 for the spoilers of Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Leave me a comment. What do you think about this Western theme set? Does it meet your expectation? Honestly, I must admit, it's turning out to be a very good set. Anyway, let's start. And I want to start like I did yesterday with a reprint, a very important reprint. Terror of the Peaks, 3 and 2 red, 5/4 flying. Spells your opponents cast that target Terror of the Peaks cost an additional 3 life to cast. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. Bristly Bill Spinesower for 1 and 1 green, 2/2, land 4. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. 3 and 2 green, double the number of +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Geralf the Flesh Ride, 2 and 1 blue, 2/3. Whenever you cast a spell during your turn other than your first spell that turn, create a 2/2 blue-black zombie rogue creature token. Whenever a zombie enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it for each other zombie that entered the battlefield under your control this turn. Assimilation Aegis for 1/1 white and 1 blue, artifact equipment, enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target creature until it leaves the battlefield. When it becomes attached to a creature, for as long as it remained attached to it, that creature becomes a copy of a creature card exiled with it, equip for 2. Railway Brawler, 3 and 2 green, 5/5, reach and trample. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is its power. Plot for 3 and 1 green. Giret, Mirror of the Wilds, 1 red, 1 green and 1 white, 3/3 with haste. Non-token creatures you control have. Tap. Create a token that's a copy of target token you control that entered the battlefield this turn. Another round, XX, 2 and 1 white, sorcery, exile any number of creatures you control, then return those creatures to the battlefield under their owner's control. Repeat this process for X times. 3 steps ahead for 1 blue, instant, with spree. At 1 and 1 blue, counter target spell. At 3 generic mana, create a token that's a copy of target artifact or creature control. At 2 generic mana, draw 2 cards, then discard a card. Vadmir New Blood for 1 and 1 black, 2/2. Whenever you commit a crime, put a +1/+1 counter on it. This ability triggers only once each turn. As long as he has 4 or more +1/+1 counters on it, it has Menace and Lifelink. And if you don't know how you can commit a crime in Magic the Gathering, I did a tutorial explaining exactly how it's done. Hellspell Boss for 2 and 2 red, 2/4. Other outlaws you control have haste. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 red mercenary creature tokens with tap. Target creature control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Stingerback Terror for 2 and 2 red, 7/7. Flying Trample gets -1/-1 for each card in your hand. Plot for 2 and 1 red. And if you don't know how to play plot, I did a tutorial explaining this particular mechanic, how it works. Outcaster Trailblazer for 2 and 1 green, 4/2. Enters the battlefield at 1 mana of any color. Whenever another creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Plot for 2 and 1 green. Smuggler Surprise for 1 green, instant with spree. For 2 generic mana, mill 4 cards. You may put up to 2 creature and or land cards from among the milled cards into your hand. At 4 and 1 green, you may put up to 2 creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Add 1 generic mana, creatures control with power 4 or greater, gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Malcolm the Ice for 1 blue and 1 red, 2/2, flying haste. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, investigate. Satoru the Infiltrator for 1 blue and 1 black, 2/3 with menace. Whenever he and or 1 or more other non-token creatures enters the battlefield under your control, if none of them were cast or no mana was spent to cast them, draw a card. Ideal for plot. Seraphic Steed for 1 green and 1 white, 2/2. First strike lifelink. When it attacks while saddled, create a 3/3 white angel creature token with flying. Saddle for 4. Kambal Sternmare for 1/1 white and 1 black, 2/4. Whenever 1 or more tokens enter the battlefield under an opponent's control, create a tapped copy of each of them. This ability triggers only once each turn. Whenever 1 or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Taiwa Keen, perfect shot for 1 red and 1 white. 2-3. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to a creature equal to that creature's toughness, draw a card. X. Tap. If a source you control would deal non-combat damage to a permanent or player this turn, it deals that much damage plus X instead. Pillage the Bog for 1 black and 1 green. Sorcery. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is twice the number of lands you control. Put 1 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. Plot for 1 black and 1 green. Russell Rampage for 1 white, instant with spree. Add 1 generic mana, untap all creatures target player controls. Add another generic mana, target creature gains double strike until end of turn. Shifting Rift for 2 blue, sorcery with spree. For 2 generic mana, exchange control of 2 target creatures. For another generic mana, exchange control of 2 target artifacts. Add another generic mana, exchange control of 2 target enchantments. Shackle Stinger for 2 and 1 blue, 3-2. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, choose target creature and opponent controls. If it's tapped, put a stun counter on it, otherwise tap it. Nimble Brigand for 2 and 1 blue, 1-3. Can't be blocked if you've committed a crime this turn. When it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Forsaken Miner for 1 black, 2-2. Can't block. Whenever you commit a crime, you may pay 1 black. If you do, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield. Shoot the Sheriff for 1 and 1 black. Instant. Destroy target non-outlaw creature. Hellspell Brute 4 and 1 red. 5-4. Affinity for Outlaws with Trample. Take for a ride 2 and 1 red. Sorcery. It has flash as long as you have committed a crime this turn. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gain haste until end of turn. Mage Bane Lizard for 1 and 1 red. 1-4. Whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, it deals damage to that player equal to the number of non-creature spells they've cast this turn. Resilient Roadrunner. Beep beep, I couldn't resist. For 1 and 1 red. 2-2. Haste, protection from coyotes. For 3 generic mana, can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with haste. Intrepid Stable Master for 1 and 1 green, 2-2 with reach. Tap, add 1 green mana. Tap, add 2 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast mount or vehicle spells. Rise of the Vermits for 3 and 1 green. Sorcery. Create X 2/1 green vermin creature tokens, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Plot for 2 and 1 green. Slick Sequence 1 blue and 1 red. Instant. It deals 2 damage to any target. If you have cast another spell this turn, draw a card. Buckler's Back for 3 generic mana artifact. Whenever you commit a crime, put a loot counter on it. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. 2. Tap, remove 2 loot counters from it. Draw a card. Steer Clear for 1 white, instant. It deals 2 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. It deals 4 damage to the creature instead if you controlled amount as you cast this spell. Ariet's Lullaby for 1 and 1 white, sorcery. Destroy target tapped creature, you gain 2 life. Slickshot Vault Buster for 2 and 1 blue, 1-4 with Vigilance, gets +2/+0 as long as you've committed a crime this turn. Black Snack Buzzard for 2 and 1 black, 2/1 with flying, enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it if a creature died this turn. Plot for 1 and 1 black. Raven of Fell Omens for 1 and 1 black, 1/2 with flying. Whenever you commit a crime, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. This ability triggers only once each turn. Mine Rider for 2 and 1 red, 3/2 with trample, enters the battlefield if you control another outlaw, create a treasure token. Tumbleweed Rising for 1 and 1 green, sorcery. Create an XX green elementary creature token where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Plot for 2 and 1 green. Gold Pen for 2 generic mana, artifact equipment, enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. Equip creature get +1/+1, equip for 1. So that was the last card in this particular day 3 for the spoilers of Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Join me again tomorrow for more spoilers about this Western team set. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more and more interesting videos about Magic the Gathering and the collectible world.